Power. Have you heard about power inequality before? It's the imbalance of power present in a situation. These days, power is shown everywhere, from the democratic governments to the big shots in business to the kings and queens of England. All throughout history, the world always was showing signs of power and power inequality. Before we can understand unequal power effects in the world today, we have to understand what power is. So what is power? Power is the level of one's ability to control, manipulate, or influence others, which is based on one's wealth, strength, possessions, position, knowledge, and/or respect one has obtained. One example of power inequality in the world today is the Philippine cybercrime law. The Philippine cybercrime law prevents all cybercrimes and gives up to a ₱1 million fine and/or 12 years of jail time for every cybercrime committed. Some examples of cybercrimes include cybersquatting, identity theft, illegal interception, cyber libel, and many more. So who's in power? In this situation, the people with the most power is the government, or in this case, senators. What are the advantages the government has? The government has more influence on this country because they have the authority to send people to jail, fine people, and sue if one decides to disobey the law. The government has the military on their side to control us. They have a lot of money, resources, and their position is very high in this country. It's intimidating, but it's what the government can do. This leaves us with the question, who does not have power? This question is easy to answer. The citizens, or in this case, the netizens, which are internet citizens, don't have power. Netizens don't have as much power as the government. They don't have military or as much money as the government does, but they have the internet. We can't make laws, we follow them. How did they react? The netizens were furious. On Tuesday, October 2, they protested. People were angry that they could get jailed for speaking out about the government, changing their profile pictures on social networks black, tweeting stuff with the hashtag #NoToCybercrime, posting pictures of themselves with their mouths taped in front of government buildings. These many petitions and protests to the cybercrime law led to its suspension after it was officially passed on October 3. Are there any connections in history? One connection is in the medieval times. There was a king in the medieval times called King John. He lost most of England's territory in France. He raised taxes, had many disagreements with people, and treated people very badly. Despite the church got so bad that he was eventually excommunicated. Church and state was separated, and the church hardly had control over it. King John had all the power and was abusing it. People had next to no power compared to him. They did not have as much wealth or strength as he did. This made the barons furious, so they banded together to create a document for colony, which was entitled the Magna Carta, which meant the Great Charter. The Magna Carta limited King John's power. The Magna Carta gave everyone rights that no one could take away and forced the king to obey certain rules he should have been following. This document, though, benefited the richer people rather than the serfs, for they had no control over it. How do these two connect? Both instances of power inequality involved a document that limits power. For the Philippine cybercrime law, Republic Act 10175, both of them came out with a majority of people being happy. Netizens fought against the law and it was suspended. Barons fought for the document to be signed, which gave everyone rights. Both instances also protected one's rights. Netizens protested and protected the right to the freedom of speech, and the Magna Carta gave people rights that couldn't be taken away. How do people rise, wield it, and ensure they keep it? People may use many ways to rise into power. One could be born into power, one can use their money to become in power, and one can use their talents to get into power. It depends on what resources one has and how they use those resources while rising into power. When one's intentions are to keep the newly gained power, one must have a way to keep it, like an action plan, because with great power comes great responsibility. If one abuses their power can easily be taken away because of their vulnerable state they are at. When one abuses power, they don't think, and power may be obtained through temporary things like money, but money won't last forever. So when one rises to power, they must make sure that they intend on ensuring to keep it, and they must be smart. They should have an action plan and never get their guard down no matter what situation they're in.